As we go into the holidays to be 10-3, it's a good position to be in. Anytime that you can win 10 non-conference games, you feel good about that. And today we started off very fast, and obviously the third and fourth quarters were not ideal by any stretch. But when you lose your point guard and your engine, your catalyst in Meg McConnell, you're going to have struggles. And we struggled without Meg being on the floor. Meg's going to be totally fine. She'll be ready for the next game. She'll be ready tomorrow, actually, or the next day. But we did struggle without her today. But kudos go to Precious Johnson with 15 points and 15 rebounds, 9 points, and 6 assists. And Tess Myers with 21 and 6. And then Lauren, had 5 rebounds and 7 points and 3 assists. And she was 2 for 5 from the three-point line, but really the other 3 that she missed were all in and out. And it's good to have her back to her normal ways.
Dan, the ladies mentioned at halftime just that you were praising the team for the collaborative effort that was the first half, just the ball moving, every pass having purpose, every shot having purpose. Just how much did you appreciate seeing that effort in front and just having that cohesive unit along the way?
The first 2 quarters were beautiful. That was beautiful basketball with the way we moved the ball. That really started in practice yesterday. We had a pretty good understanding of how they were going to defend us. And we ran a split action that they didn't guard well. And then in transition, they had a hard time finding our shooters. And most of our threes actually came out of transition in those first 2 quarters. Coach Grace for Howard's a good coach. I remember from her assistant days at Army, she made some adjustments at halftime, and we weren't quite as good as what we needed to be. We didn't score the ball in the paint like we needed to. We got a little 3 happy, and then the biggest thing was we missed Meg. Meg's the engine.
10 wins non-conference, obviously that's kind of towards that standard that you've been referring to. Just to have that cohesion that at times has been tested and to be able to shine through that way, just how much do you appreciate the effort these ladies have put in through these first dozen or plus games?
They're great women. I love this group, every single one of them. They're really good human beings. They make it fun to come to work every day. We have a very cohesive group. We have a group that is pretty special. We've had more talented teams. I don't know if we've had a more cohesive team. We have a chance to do some really special things. But we come back after Christmas and we're 0-0. And we have a very tough first game in Rhode Island.
When you mentioned cohesion, Dan, just how much can cohesion maybe be a difference maker as opposed to the talent that you've mentioned before, and just making sure that results in the result you want at the end of each game?
Yeah, anytime you have players playing for one another, you can have a lot of success, and that can overcome talent to a certain degree. We had been a 6-person rotation for most of the non-conference, and we're really trying to work to get Riley and Liv Westfall and Anaya Walker and Singo up to where they can contribute. And Lauren has made that jump. Lauren has made that jump, and she's someone that we can count on now to give us quality minutes. And when you have women or men, whoever it may be, when you have a team that will fight for one another and not just fight for one another, but cheer for one another and be happy for each other's success, that's a great starting point.
That kind of dovetails into the next question, Dan, about Lauren. Just obviously there's been ups and downs injury-wise, minutes-wise, all the other X factors that are there. Just how impressed are you by her resolve and her ability to just find herself and find her role within this team?
Lauren is an incredibly hard worker, and if there was really one kid on the team that we thought that may coach after she's done playing, it's Lauren. She has a very strong sense of self-worth and belief in herself, but it was tested with the various injuries that she's had, and not coming back and shooting it the way she's normally accustomed to. Today and in our last game, shooting the ball, and then in practice the way she has been, she's feeling a lot better about herself, and we're excited where she's going.
You mentioned Meg in the opening remark. How much, you said she'd be back tomorrow. I'm assuming it was precautionary, and just how much of a learning lesson was it, just maybe having that extended stretch of not having her on the floor and finding ways to counter?
Well, when you don't have her on the floor, you play with a freshman who's played limited minutes, and that's not fair to Riley. We're inserting her into a tough position, and we've got to get Riley up to speed and get her to where there's not a lot of drop off. Meg's the best point guard in the Atlantic 10. You could arguably say, she's a statistical leader in so many different categories. So, when you take her off the floor, it's going to hurt. Riley's got to be able to come in and just kind of stem the tide, I guess, and be able to run the team. And today she was okay doing that, but we've got to continue to get her better. We're also using Amaya Hamilton at point guard, and that's interesting. I like it. I think there's some good things there, and I think Amaya did a nice job in the time that she played point.
20 assists on 23 made field goals, Dan. We've talked about the connectivity, but just to see it be that much in your face and that present throughout means what to you?
20 assists on 23 buckets. I mean, that tells you about the cohesion of this team and them playing for one another. It also tells you about this team that, we beat a team that went to the NCAA tournament last year by 13, and we scored 68 points, and, the locker room was a little bit disappointed, because we didn't finish well in the fourth. And, that speaks highly to who they are and what their character is. And we're excited as we go into conference. Appreciate you all supporting women's basketball. Rest in peace, Franco.